Good morning and welcome to JCTV Africa. My name is Marvelous Dlamini and this is the morning update. And today here in the Sunshine City, we are seeing partly cloudy weather conditions, but then we're expecting the skies to clear up during the day, with the lowest temperatures being 19 degrees Celsius and the highest being 25 degrees Celsius. And in today's trending stories, we're going to be looking at the ZiG that is seemingly losing its value on the black market, and also going to be covering the story of the citizens complaining about the data prices in the country. We're also going to look at the story of the police that are protesting over uniforms. And to help me discuss these stories today on the morning update is my colleague Kenan Rusike, and I'll just bring him in and then we'll start discussing these issues. Good morning, Kenan, and welcome to the morning update.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me today. So I brought you here so that we can discuss the trending stories on the streets.
Yes.
And my first story that I want us to talk about is the story of the ZiG that is seemingly losing its value today. What's going on?
We are seeing different in pricing of the different retailers and individuals, whereby we are seeing people that are pricing the ZiG, because we know that the ZiG is trading at $1 as to 13. And you can see people that are selling airtime, they are selling it also at $1 as to 13. But you are hearing other prices with those people that are swiping and people that are doing transfer, that they have different prices, almost like what was happening with the RTGS. So there seems to be, the trust is not there yet on the local currency. So that is the challenge that I'm seeing.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that despite the fact that the government is also trying to push to get people, the black market people off the streets, the money changers off the streets. But then we're still seeing these prices going up and the ZiG seemingly losing its value. What's your take on that?
Yeah, you see, there's always a problem when the black market is created by the scarcity of the money on the market, where the money is supposed to be available at the banks, it's supposed to be available on the retailers, and it's not there. So people are going to go and look for it for somewhere else. So if the government can fix that to say the money is available at the bank, if I want to do my transfer, I can go at an ATM and I can do my transfer with minimal or little charges, then you are not going to find these guys on the streets, because they are responding to the law of demand and supply. So that's what is happening. So for us to see the black market going our way, it's the structures that need to address this. They have to be there for that to go away.
And still on the issue of currency, last week and the last week but one, we saw people now refusing to accept the bond notes which were now on the market. But then this morning I heard you talking about how the Mshika Kombis have started accepting the bond notes again. What do you think has been done there, and what do you think brought people to that fact that now they are accepting the bonds?
Yeah, what I've seen is that even in other public transport that I've been into, the reason why people are accepting the bond notes is because there was a bit of panic and uncertainty on the first few days when the bond notes and the ZiG was introduced. People were not knowing. Then we heard that the ZiG was, the bond note was now in high demand. That's why you could hear people talking about 30,000 per dollar or 60,000 per dollar, those kind of crazy prices. But now people are realizing that, okay, the bond note is what we have for us to do trade. Even though on the streets people are so skeptical about it, but if you get into a public transport, they'll tell you whether you have to some that are charging $1 for two. You have to give you the bond notes. You either have to accept it, or you have to have someone else. Then we charge you a normal $1, or you have to pay the $1. So people are left with no choice. They just have to accept the $1, especially in public transport. That is the situation.
Okay. And so earlier this morning, also I had an interaction with a few individuals that were complaining about the prices of data that are seemingly not corresponding to the rates in terms of how the ZiG is trading and how they are being charged in terms of data prices.
Yeah, there seems to be a bit of disparity there. We saw in the first week when the ZiG was introduced that the data for I think Econet was going for 90 ZiG, that 8 gig data, but now it's on 220, which is a huge jump of which is around $16 per dollar if we're using the official rate. So that means there is that uncertainty. Maybe it will fade off with time, but as for now, we can see that people are not yet convinced, because they say once bitten, twice shy. There is always that uncertainty among members of the public that, will this work? Am I not going to lose my money? So they want to trade carefully.
Okay, people trading carefully this morning in the streets of Harare. And the other discussion that I wanted us to have was the issue of the police protesting about the uniforms.
Yes, this is the issue that has been covered by the news today, and we are hearing that some of the police members are protesting at this upcoming, they are going to do a parade at this upcoming independence celebration that is going to be held in Buera, I think you talked about yesterday. And what is happening is that they are protesting because some of them have not received new uniforms in the past 3 years. So they went to the parade where they were supposed to be doing the rehearsal for the celebrations in those seemingly tattered or old uniform. But we heard that the police spokesperson, Assistant Commissioner Ponyati, he said that the issue was being addressed.
Okay, thank you so much for that update. And maybe our last story that we can talk about now. I remember last week, the socialite My Teti's daughter, Fifi, had pictures, proper pictures being released on social media and trending on different social media platforms. And then we looked at it. People were really complaining to say that the person behind the leaking of these pictures should be arrested and then should be charged. And what's the development on that story?
Yeah, according to the constitution, the bill that was introduced in 2022, the act that then became an act in 2022, the Cyber Protection Bill, it actually covers that part, whereby if you have, many countries have introduced laws that act against revenge porn, whereby if I'm holding your pictures, I can, then extort you money. In that regard. So we're hearing that there's a guy called Amin Maka who has been arrested on that, because we saw the mother of Fifi Maititi, the socialite, saying that they were going to press charges on that. So there's a bit of crackdown on that, but we're going to watch how it's going to unfold, because there are some punishable offenses that are attracted on that too. So we are going to see how is that going to pan out at the end of the day.
That was my colleague Kenan Rusike there helping me discuss the trending stories in the streets of Harare. My name is Marvelous Dlamini. Make sure that you join me again in the evening as we do our daily roundup, where we talk about more trending stories, more interesting stories.